This presentation will focus on key characteristics of early childhood leaders. Influences on developing a leadership style will be addressed, along with attention to the cultural context of individuals and how differences influence interactions. Connections between parenting and leading, teaching and leading will be presented, and unique aspects of leading early childhood settings will be addressed. There are many factors that will influence your approach to leadership. Sullivan pointed out in Chapter 2 of your assigned readings that the family context has a strong impact on a person's leadership style. While not absolute, an individual's placement in the order of siblings, birth order, can play a part, with the firstborn child influenced by taking on responsibility for others. But this is also influenced by the size of the family and spacing between children. Family's culture, including rules and expectations that are overtly stated and those that are communicated through the behaviors of parents and community as a whole. Certainly, a family's expectations for either assertive, forthright communication or for passive reflective statements can influence an individual's approach to interacting with others. Sullivan's discussion of the similarities between parenting and leading were notable. Decisions and strategies that are simply part of parenting translate extremely well to leading. It is important to note that many different approaches to leading in different families and in different individuals all have strengths and challenges. There is no one correct leadership style. Now think back to your Chapter 1 reading in the Sullivan text. Two types of leadership style were described. These included directive style and facilitative style. There are clear differences between the two approaches in the areas of focus on task completion versus individual needs and strengths, leader-focused responsibility versus shared control and responsibilities with others, and leader-only decision-making versus shared decision-making. Individuals have a tendency toward one leadership style, but the characteristics of the workplace, tasks to be completed, and individuals to be led can cause a leader to vary in approach to better accomplish the task and to build the skills and dispositions of people in the organization. Going back to the comparisons between parenting and leading, I found Sullivan's list of tasks to represent the wide-ranging actions that leaders must take very comprehensive. No matter what situation requires planning, managing, and supervising people, families, church groups, businesses, or early childhood programs in schools, the type of tasks are quite similar. Hopefully, this will encourage those of you who are not sure about your ability to lead in a larger sense beyond your classrooms, the support in knowing that you have already executed many of these leadership tasks in your own lives. Sullivan clearly draws the obvious connections between the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and dispositions that both teachers and early childhood leaders must possess. In fact, in the CSM Teacher Education Mission Statement, we state that our desired outcome is to have our graduates become teacher leaders. That is, they will become leaders in their own classroom, in their school, among colleagues, and in their community. Their leadership styles may certainly vary, but being a decision maker and advocate for students in the classroom does readily translate to being a decision maker and an advocate for students, families, staff, colleagues, as an early childhood program leader. The last two areas that are addressed, staff development and supervision, and fiscal management and planning, probably appear to be the least connected with the leadership roles of the teacher. However, interpersonal and professional relationships with colleagues often focus on encouraging them to develop needed or desired skills, and fiscal management, however challenging, relates to what I say is managing your wallet. If financial resources are coming in and there is money in your wallet, then you can determine how much is available for the desired items and prioritize when the resources are limited. Obviously, simply said, but much more challenging when allotting resources for a program. Sullivan provides an excellent discussion of how the cultural context of the organization and the individuals at all levels must be deliberately considered when serving as a leader. The definition that she includes of diversity is more comprehensive than some perspectives that may focus solely on race and ethnicity. By broadly defining diversity, and addressing difference, leaders can be more aware and make intentional choices because of their knowledge of more individual characteristics and beliefs. By acknowledging that we have all come to decision-making and interactions with others based upon our own characteristics and life experiences, we are better equipped to see our limitations in our perspectives and more proactively listen, inquire, and collaborate more effectively through getting to know each individual and their familial and cultural context. Decision-making is influenced by personal values, so it's important to recognize that leaders must acknowledge their own values, but in turn must learn about the values held by all other stakeholders in that organization. If there are conflicts in values, it will be difficult to work effectively if different points of view are not considered when making decisions and implementing changes. Shared values are those values that can be agreed upon by all of the stakeholders. Individuals will still maintain their personal points of view and values, but everyone can come together to focus on the shared values that will propel the program forward. Once shared values are established, it will be time to clarify the direction of the program. Rather than just focusing on maintaining the status quo, leaders must be forward-thinking and work with others to determine that direction. Visioning requires open-mindedness and can be challenging. Dreaming of a future of the program that is not achievable can be frustrating instead of inspiring. There needs to be the possibility in the vision, with a challenge for improvement and enhancement. Leaders must be able to communicate and support joint discussions in order to have all individuals contribute to the visioning process and feel ownership in the final vision for the future. In an insightful article by Charles Cavugna, leadership is viewed in light of working in early childhood settings. The foundation for early childhood leaders in programs that serve children and families is the intentional prioritization of making a positive difference in the lives of the children. As we discovered in the previous module, the central principle of ethical conduct is focused on protecting the child and working toward achieving those positive outcomes. So Cavugna's statement that leaders are in a setting where they must call for a commitment and passion from every person in order to make that positive difference. There are three distinct perspectives that Cavugna's article addresses. These include the people, places, and practices in early childhood educational context, and how leaders must address the unique expectations and functions of these programs. First, leaders must consider the people in all of the settings. There are all types of essential roles in early childhood programs, and all must be acknowledged and valued. The responsibility of the leader is to put together a highly qualified and functioning team that can work toward providing the best experiences for children and families served by the program. There are a wide range of early childhood programs, including those that serve specific ages of children, like preschool or kindergarten programs, to those that serve a broader range, like a full-day program with infants through school-age children, or a primary school serving pre-kindergartners through third graders. The purposes of the program, ages of children served, and program requirements, like family engagement, will affect the leader's focus and leadership style. The common foundation, though, is that early childhood programs serve children who spend a great deal of time in the day in the program. This responsibility for their daily experiences should charge leaders with a clear focus, and all decision-making and management tasks should lead the program to the achievement of a high-quality learning experience for all children. Given the focus on providing high-quality experiences for young children, connecting proactively with families, and providing a positive and supportive workplace for teachers and support staff, there are important practices that leaders must adhere to. This will involve a clearer understanding of how their different responsibilities and roles are defined and conducted in practice. Cavugna points out 4 distinct roles: team stakeholder, policy designer, pedagogy creator, and rights advocate. I found the names in his description of the roles to have a unique twist versus how leadership roles are typically defined. The team stakeholder role is focused on creating the effective team with the best qualifications and providing continued training that will enable them to provide the best experiences for the children. The policy designer is more of the management role of designing and implementing those policies that will let the organization run smoothly. It is this infrastructure that creates a well-functioning program that will allow the focus to be on providing developmentally appropriate experiences for all children. The pedagogy creator is essentially an instructional facilitator, so that the early childhood leader must be knowledgeable about child development, developmentally appropriate practices, instructional strategies, environmental design, guidance, planning, and assessment, etc. With this expertise, the leader understands the demands of the classroom teachers and their colleagues and can support, mentor, and teach as needed to help them design learning experiences and identify resources. Finally, Kavunya discusses the role of the rights advocate. In this role, leaders must be appraised of the needs of all individuals involved in the program and determine whether there's a balance in place that supports fairness, equity, and quality experiences for everyone. As mentioned, the focus on the children's experiences is paramount, so that advocacy for quality experiences for the children will take precedence, while still supporting teachers and other stakeholders and meeting their needs. At times, the leader will find the need to advocate for children, teachers, families, and the program as a whole in the broader community, to inform them of the value of their work and the support that is needed from the community to achieve the program's shared goals and vision for the future. So in conclusion, this presentation has addressed how each leader will develop his or her own style of leadership as a consequence of family experiences, personal cultural context, as well as teaching and other leadership experiences. The comparisons between parenting and leading and between teaching and leading should assure you that you already possess many leadership qualities that are exercised in the classroom every day, even if you're not formally considered to be a leader or in a role of a program administrator. The importance of taking the cultural context of each person, including teachers, support staff, and families into account in building relationships, establishing shared values and goals, and providing a positive work environment was noted. Finally, the unique perspective of leading in early childhood settings was discussed, with a focus on the people, places, and practices needed.